So welcome to this onboarding for Ptengine. Let's start with the basics today. We will be signing up for a new account, installing the tracking code, and I will guide you through in this video that will take quite some minutes. I will go over all the basics, including some more advanced user settings you can do. And after that, we'll jump into some use cases that you can use for your own website, especially focusing on e-commerce. So let's get started. First, we arrive on ptengine.com. As you can see, we will sign up for a free account. Here we go. I created a temporary email address. Let's say suggest a password. There we go. Okay, I should receive a email with a verification. So let's go to my temporary email address here. And here you can see I got the verification. With a short welcome email, we can go to Get Started. And this will start creating our Ptengine account. I can add a project name here, which let's say is Project X. Our website is, let's say, testurl.com. And here you select your time zone. This is actually an important step. This will be synchronized with your shopping information, for example. So make sure you select the right time zone here. Here we go. I get some welcome messages. One of the first major steps that sometimes might be a bit intrusive is the installation of the tracking code. We try to explain it very easily here. There is a manual installation and a installation through Google Tag Manager. You can sort of select here what you would like. In this case, since I will be installing in my Shopify website, I will use here the copy code tag, and we will go to our website to verify and install. I have a Shopify account here. So when you log into your own Shopify account, there are a few options that you can go to install the tracking code. In this case, we will go to Settings, and then we look for Customer Events. As you can see, I already installed our code. Let's say add a custom pixel, because this is what you'll be doing. So let's say Ptengine pixel, add this pixel, and then you can add the code that I literally just got. You can replace all of this. And so we installed the tracking code. With that, we can go back to the sign up process. You'll add your URL here of your shop, and you will click check. Since I've already done this, I will close this tab, and I will go to my signed in account, which is the Ptengine website in this case. We will resume the demo from this website, since I have some demos in here to show you guys today. This website can also be closed. We have 3 parts showing to start: the Insight section, which will cover the analytics part, real-time heat maps. Then we have the second part, which is the experience section. This is mainly where we can look at A/B tests, marketing widgets, some surveys can be done here. This also includes our inspiration gallery, where you can find multiple templates that you can use. And the third part is the Page Studio, which is also a great section to explore. Let's first start with the settings environment. We have a lot of settings you can set. So let's just jump in the basic settings at first. Let's say you want to have multiple websites to track. You can simply click the add button here and add any extra website you want to manage from your Ptengine account. Let's say you're an agency or you have multiple e-commerce stores. You can add all of these and use the same tracking code to track all of them in one place. In In this case, I will just stick with one. The tracking code can be found here. So if you are looking for your tracking code, it is within projects tracking code. You can use it here, copy it. As you can see, the verification here is done already correctly. There are some reporting features, some IP exclusion, so certain bots or maybe certain websites that are part of your network that you want to exclude from your data so you're not polluting your own data. You can exclude them here and add these IP addresses. There are also some exclusions for certain bots that could be, for example, Google that comes spider your website. You can exclude them from that as well. If there's other bots that you have from your own network, for example, that you want to exclude, that is the place where you can do that as well. There's an option to combine URLs. So if you have, for example, triple W in your URL or not, or you have websites that are the same but not, you can merge them here. So the data is merged as one. There's different types of ways, stuff for anchors, stuff with, as I said, the triple W's, .html or not, maybe even with slashes. There's multiple mixes here that you can use for those combos. Some settings for visits. If people time out, for example, you can set a timeout timer here for both PC usage, so desktop browsing or mobile browsing. Multiple options here to select. Default is set to 30 minutes, just so you know. Heatmap sections of heatmap settings are here. In this case, if you would have a free plan, for example, you would have to make a selection here in this page to say which page you want to render a heat map on. In our case, we are on a paid plan. You won't have that setting here. There's some advanced settings as well. So for example, standard, this is set to the Ptengine heat maps for PC. So that is the basic render. You can set that to mobile, for example, if you prefer that, if you have a mobile website. Let's move on to event settings. Here we have, for example, many settings for our event tracking. You can add your own events here as well. This is good to, for example, analyze certain clicks, but we'll zoom in on that a little bit later when we go to the actual event settings. Here are some settings for page grouping. There could be many groups where you merge URLs, maybe for your product pages, for example, to really track those together. Set up conversions can be done here. Many conversions can be set. You can add a conversion, for example. This can be, for example, add to cart, sign up for a newsletter, for example. They're URL-based, event-based, or page group-based. Generally speaking, easiest would be URL-based. So you can, for example, use your /cart URL here and save them as a add to cart conversion. By saving them, they will be automatically tracked starting from now. And when you later on go to the conversion section, you can track them and have a nice overview connected, for example, with Shopify and really see how much money is flowing in through these certain conversions. The same can be done for campaigns. This is a ideal feature to create your UTM tags. So if you have ads, we really recommend you to use our UTM creator, or if you create your own UTMs, that's great. If you don't, you can use this tool, which is found here in the settings, create campaign URLs. With that, you create URLs that are easily be tracked. This also works for Google Analytics. And especially if you use Google Ads or Facebook Ads, this is an awesome way to really keep track of all those UTM codes that are sometimes getting lost within websites. But it's a great way to really keep track of those. Here are some channel settings. This can create new groupings. Generally speaking, for the sources, so you can see which platforms people are coming from. Could be browser-based, could be device-based. But with this, you can create certain groups that give you an introduction and a quick link to merging certain data or separating that from the other group. It's actually an ideal way to segment. I'll show you one here. So for example, you can do this on search traffic or direct traffic, referral, and again, Using UTMs here is useful because you can include those URLs, those UTM tags, and with that you automatically filter your dashboard on our homepage in the end. So let's jump there immediately. When you click Insights, you land onto this page where you can see a quick overview of all your data. Standard set to the last 7 days. If you would like to change that, there are many options here to make different selections. For example, the past 30 days. You can see some tips here, which are generally speaking the weekends. So this is a very recognizable flow also for an average e-commerce store. Zoom in on visits, unique visits, page views. On the right side, we can add certain filters. These filters are, again, based on what you would like to see. This could be based on type of visitor, returning visitor or new visitors. Are they coming from certain UTM campaigns? Are they coming from social media or not? Did they click on certain ads or not? You can really recreate this dashboard, this homepage, based on all those requests and segments that you would like to see. You can also save these filters. So next time you want to use this again, with one click, you would have them and you could actually see them, which is a really great way of quickly managing your own dashboard here. Earlier, I said something about the sources and segments and channels. That is managed here. So, for example, if you would like to see all the results, for example, on only search traffic, in this case, you select it, and the whole menu and the whole dashboard changes to only that traffic that you selected here. You see the devices here, which browsers they have, the most popular pages. If you want to see, for example, your real-time traffic, there is a real-time tab on the left. Let me go back to the home page real quick to deselect this quick filter. It's actually already done. Real-time traffic right now, one person coming from Google. So here we go. You can see which page these people are looking at. And as you can see, somebody is right now reading the Brick by Brick Marketing Mastery article we have based on Lego, a very popular article we offer. Location, if you want to see real-time information, this person is coming from the Philippines. On the left side, we also have sources. You can get a really nice overview of how your traffic is divided over different sources. Again, direct, referral, search, social, campaign traffic, email newsletters. You can also add in some events if you have those set up. On the content tab, you can get a nice overview of which pages are the most popular. In our case, that is the Heatmap feature. Homepage is then shown. Some other pages, some articles, for example. Devices. The devices section, you get a nice overview of all the traffic divided over devices. In our case, we see a lot of traffic coming on PC, not so much on mobile. Generally speaking, when you have an e-commerce website, you'll see much higher amount that is coming through smartphone. This also will help you to make decisions of where to test, for example, but also to segment. But we'll zoom in on that a little bit later. Again, location and campaign. Similar way of segmenting your data starting from the homepage. Let's zoom in on the events. If you set up some events, you can really zoom in on certain elements on your website. You can use the Event Explorer to really find certain elements. Let me give you an example here. We open ptengine.com, and then we can select certain elements on our page. Well, you can select any type of event, and with that, it will show the interactions that have been happening in the past 7 days. If you want to define this, you can click define and really set this up and save this event to keep tracking that for the future, for future usage, for example, which is a great way to really figure out how people are interacting with your elements on the website. Okay, let's go back to our events. We are tracking certain events as well. Here, as you can see, Let's zoom in on some conversions. So if you look at all the conversions, you see a certain conversion rate, you see conversions. If you set up values, for example, so if you, let's say you sell something in an e-commerce shop, you can add values of certain sales. You sell shoes, you can set up $100 for a pair of shoes. You will see an actual number here as in value based on money. You can filter on where people are coming from. Referrals, for example, will show up here. So where are most of your sales coming from? Are they coming from your partners, certain websites, certain campaigns? Again, UTMs come in very handy here. Great way to really dig into your analysis here. Now let's have a look at some heat maps. So the heat map will really show like how people interact with your web pages. Let's have a look at this page here today. Okay, here we go. A quick overview of this heat map. Standard, the click heat map will be loaded, which is a heat map that showcases where people are clicking on your website. You can see that most of our clients arrive on this page and go to Ptengine to log in to actually use the tool. You can see a few amount of clicks here on the content. This could be swipes, for example, if people use a tablet or have a touch screen. Sign up for free. Generally speaking, you see more signups coming from the top. You see some lines here with drop-off rates. Not many people scroll down. You see here a big drop-off after the first section. On the right side, we can show some basic analytics. How many visits were in this time slot shown. You see the amount of clicks. You see drop-off percentage. You see time on page. Certain blocks, so which elements have been interacted the most with. You can swap on the top. You can see, for example, the attention heat map, which is a different type of heat map. That is a heat map that shows where people are paying most attention to. In this case, most people are actually paying attention to the logos of our customers. Interesting to see. But yeah, this is a great way to, for example, optimize your blog articles, what elements are being read well, maybe on certain advertisements that you're doing there, or certain content pages that need optimization. You really want to figure out what your visitors are interested in. Using this attention heat map for that is a really great way of doing that. There's also an analysis feature. This sort of gives you an idea of more like a black and white, well, in this case, blue and red, overview of your blocks of content and how people are clicking in that and interacting with it. A really great way of seeing where people are clicking. You can also set it, for example, to impressions or impression rates. So how many people actually saw this? For example, if you want to share a heat map, you can make a screenshot and share this with. So a heat map is being created. Depending on how long the page is. It takes a few seconds, and then it will give you an image that you can share, for example, with your colleagues or your team members. As you can see, it is downloaded right now in a nice little zip, and here you have it. You can see all the images that were created, which is a really great way of sharing this information with your colleagues. We're going to go back to the click heat map first. Let's go to the click heat map and make a little comparison, which is a nice way of showing some really cool features here. Here is a way of comparing two heat maps with each other. So we have one page, which is in this case the home page. And we can create filters on each page to really compare and see if there's any differences. So for example, let's add a filter. Let's say visit feature, visit type. Let's say I only want to see on this side the new visits. Yes, enable. And on the other page, I want a segment based on visit type, returning visitors. Confirm. Yes, enable. And as you can see, there is a very, very big difference in how new visitors are looking at this page versus people that already know the page. A lot more people are actually going to the login page, but there's actually also quite some people that use the sign up button. So more people are people that return to our page. Doesn't always mean they're already a client. It could also mean that people who come back to the page are maybe considering the product. You see a much higher ratio. Also, some clicks on certain elements where people are interested in reading more about our product. So yeah, you see there's a much higher engagement in returning visitors versus new visitors to our website, which is it's nice to mention. So this is a great way of comparing one page with different segmentation. And you can do this, for example, for your own website as well, using, for example, UTM codes for certain campaigns, or maybe you want to see how certain ads are performing for your landing pages. Is traffic from Facebook performing the same as that from Google Ads? Or is my Instagram post doing well versus the standard traffic we got from our newsletter? A really amazing way of comparing the same website, but then with different segmentations. And with a heat map, you can literally see in, well, almost a blink of an eye how the interactions are being performed by your visitors, and also if there's any improvement. And this will reflect again also on your conversions in the end. Great way to connect these two things. Okay. From the heat maps, we move on to our experience settings. Um, in the experience part, again, as I said in the beginning, this is a more interactive way of optimizing. So first, in the inside part, we learn what's going on, we analyze our data, we have a closer look of what is happening on our website, and we try to pick out some learnings or maybe some questions we have, like could we try this or that, to really make some improvements. Um, Knowing this gives you also maybe some ideas for actions. Well, this is where Ptengine experience kicks in. And this is the overview. I already have quite some running campaigns here, but it's easy to make a new experience. New experiences can be different things. It could be I want to try out a pop up, or I want to try a survey. It really depends on what you are trying to test. So this section really includes, again, marketing elements plus A/B testing, maybe making some content changes or swapping around certain paragraphs where you have seen attention heat maps that showcased certain elements were more interesting for our readers, so you want to move those to the top, or vice versa. Again, this is the playground of your website without needing development resources. So let's try something and create something here. Let's do an A/B test, for example. So what do we want to test? Let's test a new CTA. So let's try ptengine.com. Here we go. And while doing this, Ptengine loads the website and loads the editor in the same time. This will take a few seconds. As you can see, here we are. Let's go over the top navigation a bit first. If you want to cancel, there's exit, a preview, save, and next. There are different versions you can create by clicking this button here. Something to keep in mind is that the PC version and smartphone version are separated. So when you make changes to the desktop version of the website, especially with pages that are automatically scaling to mobile phones, it is important to make sure that the adjustments you make for PC also work well on your mobile devices. So that's why they are separated, and you can swap around between them using these two buttons. You can also choose to, for example, only make changes on desktop or only make them on smartphone versions. Up to you. You can select that here by switching it on and off. There's an interactive mode. If you switch this on, you can, for example, use the navigation without having these. Well, let me show you. You see, I can use the navigation without being interrupted by selecting these elements. This helps you to move around certain elements, for example, if they're in the way before editing them. Um, there is an option if you want to add, for example, certain JavaScripts to go into code mode. This will give you more options to make changes on pages. But if you're not familiar with that, then for this case, let's skip this and go with the sort of drag and drop, click and edit mode, which is much easier to use. But it comes sometimes with some limitations. That is something to keep in mind. But generally speaking, you can do most of the stuff just using the editor. So for example, if you want to make changes to, let's say, this header title, we want to try something else, we can say edit text, optimize, let's say, your website instead of site. Well, the landing page creator, I don't want to mention that at all at the moment. So let's say I call this web analytics. So in this case, I changed my, actually, I don't like it. Let's change this a bit more. Let's do it like this. I want only 2 lines. And analytics. Here we go. This looks much better. So in this case, I changed the title. Maybe I also want to change the color of this button. I also want to edit the text. Sign up. Sign up now. Let's make it a bit more aggressive. Here we go. Now let's change the style of button. Here you can, for example, change the color. Let's go totally crazy with a purple button here to really make it stand out. And as you can see, it is very, very simple to make a different version here. Other changes can also be made, of course. Maybe you want to even change this color here of this copy. Again, everything is possible with some quick changes here. Yeah, again, there's borders. You can really change everything. You can change the fonts. It's literally like using any page editor for compared with WordPress or Word or something like that. It's a very similar way to do it. Okay, let's say save. Okay, save and next. Okay. We always recommend you to add a goal. So let's add a goal. Add a new goal. The goal will be, let's say, ptngine.com/sign up. I want people to go to this page. Oh, here we go. Sign up. There we go. I want people to go to this page. There we go. Save. So the A/B test will be successful if people actually go to the next step in the sign-up process. Oh yeah, I see. I've made a lot of mistakes with my with my A/B test. Okay, turn off smartphone. Great. Okay, because I did not make those changes there. Okay, here we go. If I feel great with this, I can say publish now. Well, I will not do it, but let me give you a preview to sort of see how it will look. Here we are. A brand new homepage. Isn't it fantastic? As you can see, it is within a minute you have a A/B test running. Very simple. Again, basic change. But if there's images, for example, you'd like to change or you want to swap stuff around, it is very simple to do so. Here we go. Let's say you have run an A/B test. How can I see the results? Here we go. Let me show you. Let's pick a. Okay, let's just have a little look here. Let's see if this is a good one to share. Okay. Also good to mention, So you have version 1, the original version, you have a new version. 50/50 traffic dividing. So that means in 50% of the 50% of the traffic will go to version A and 50% will go to version B. You can swap this number around if you like. Not that many users went to the page. 9 people in each section in each version made an action, so they signed up or they clicked on the button or they reached the goal. And as you can see, the the uplift is barely nothing. So in this case, there is really no winner. And sometimes that is also what you want to see. In the ideal world, you see a winner that is, let's say, 90%, and it's very obvious who wins. In this case, there is no winner, which means there is no big difference, or people that were on this page didn't really maybe even notice it, that there was something different, or so yeah, sometimes there is no real winner in A/B test, and actually in most of the cases it is like that. This could be improved, for example, if you would run the test longer, if you would have more traffic to see smaller differentiation. You can also make it more interesting, for example, certain segments. So you can, for example, say, let's only test it with a more specific audience. That could also make a big difference. So if it's a generic test for everyone, there's a higher chance that the difference is not as big as you would expect it to be. That's something to keep in mind. Let me see if I can show a test that actually has a obvious winner. That is always the nicest to see, I guess. Maybe this one. Okay, this one does not have a very obvious winner, but it actually has a probability of being better of 82%. There's an uplift of 34%, but still, we do not consider this a very obvious winner. The amount of traffic is considered on the low end here. Goal reached is, you see, it is 30% more. It is only 1% more as in an uplift of the actual number. But based on the ratio of traffic, people who actually signed up, the assumption that this is a better version is indeed there. So that's why you have an 82% score. But we don't call this a clear winner. If you go over 90%, then yes, we consider this a winner. But in this case, it is, well, let's say close to a winner. So normally what we would advise is to run this test longer. And again, increase traffic, have more signups to have a stronger indicator of actually winning here. Great. This was the A/B test. Let's try something else. As you can see here at the bottom, we have a bunch of templates that are ready to go. These are pop-ups, surveys, click exits. So if people are exiting your page and you want to avoid from this happening, there is a gallery with more than 100 items you can select and choose from. It's a great way also to improve your engagement. So if you see, for example, from your analytics, from your heat maps, that the engagement is low, yeah, this is a great way of improving engagement on your website. So let's set up an engagement trigger. I can use a template. It's almost Christmas. Let's see if we can find something great for Christmas. Maybe not. I like this one. Let's create this one. Limited edition, we call this. But for me, I find it a bit Christmassy. So let's go to Christmas session here. Okay, looks like Christmas cookies, Christmas gifts. This copy is in Japanese. So let's say Christmas gifts. Get 20 cookies for free. Oh. Okay. How much will it cost? That's a good question. I said for free, huh? Let's say 10 USD. If you spend more. Yes. Shop now. Great. So yeah, let's say something like this. It's not perfect, but this is the way you can quickly create a pop-up. If you would like, you can of course add a bunch of more elements here. Add forms, add elements as in like shapes. You can add your own images. You can add a timer. So for example, this campaign will only run, let's say, 2 hours, maybe 2 days. You can even add some videos if you like. Actually, I would like to have a timer though. I always love timers. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Okay, let's put the timer. Countdown to a date. Let's say we count down to Christmas. Okay, I cannot reach myself. Okay, 29th. This is the easiest. Okay, good. So here we go. Until the 29th, this campaign is valid. Again, we say save and exit. And there we go. It's actually that simple. Let's say preview. Oh, here it is. So now if I go to my homepage and my clients would like to have some free cookies, this is the way to do it. Awesome way of quickly adding a pop-up. And this could be a survey. This could be based on an action where you say, okay, I want this only to happen when people are about to leave the website, or this need to be shown to everyone. Um, these things can be set up here. So how do I trigger this? Show immediately when people arrive. So show with a time. For example, if the person stays for 20 seconds on the, sorry, for 20, 20 seconds. We can also say stop at some point. Let's say the visitor has seen this thing more than, let's say, 2 times. Let's not be too spammy. Again, you can set up quite some conditions here how you want this trigger to interact with your visitors. We save it. We can say target certain users. Let's go crazy here. Let's say people who come from, let me see, source type. I want all my social media people to see this. So everybody who comes from my ads in Facebook, in this case, will see, since that's the main social media platform I'm using. Let's add a goal. Let's see, use the same goal as earlier. Maybe not ideal in this case, but you can select the goal here. And then the schedule. So you can run this, for example, starting immediately. Oh, it is set to never stop. Well, you can stop showing this one. Let's also say on the 29th. Perfect. Again, remember in the beginning when I said time zone is important. Here you see you can use the visitor's time zone or our time zone. In this case, for the campaign, I would like to base this timeline and this timer and campaign on my own time zone. Here we go. You didn't set a link. Okay, let's set up a link. Edit. Nope. Add link. Open link. In this case, let's go to ptngine.com/sign up. I'm a bit in the way. Open a new tab. Close pop-up after clicking. Great. That's fantastic. Save and next. Let's move myself back again. So in this case, we have created a great campaign. And if we feel good with it, we can say publish. That's the way it works. Very, very easy. Now, let's go to our gallery and dive into all these amazing elements. So, the inspiration gallery. This is a bit of a mix between certain A/B tests, certain promotions. There are some practices on e-commerce platforms, for example, stuff that has been done by our clients, have been done by us. stuff that has been shared. Um, Again, many items that you can reuse, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Stuff is here to really take and grab, reuse elements that are used for your blog, elements that are used for shopping, cart abandonment, surveys. A lot of things can be found here. So have a look, see if there's stuff that you like, and reuse it without having to do all the work of recreating this kind of elements because it has been done before. Okay, so that is the gallery. Now, for the final part, let's go to the user segmentation. Managing your user segmentation is quite handy, especially if you run multiple A/B tests, if you want to really specifically test certain audiences with certain elements in your tests. This is a great way of tagging them together, managing these segments. Creating segments can be done by simply clicking create new segment. You can give it a great name here. Oh, great name. And then there is, well, segmentation based on behavior. So people who click certain elements, people who order certain products, they're coming from certain campaigns. All these things that are important for you or where you spend your marketing budget on can be selected from this kind of elements. Again, the UTM tags are here as well. So if you want to use those UTM tags, they come in very handy here. If you've set them up, they are easily to be selected from here. If you also imported additional data into Ptengine, certain user properties or event tracking, these items will also be shown up here. Throughout Shopify, for example, if you have an event integration with Shopify, these items are also available from here. Now let's go to the goals. The goals, I earlier created a new item. It's called sign up, which is this one here. Managing these is also convenient. I think many can be reused. So when you set up, for example, abandoned cart, purchase item, these kind of goals and probably also conversion funnels that you create can be reused for a lot of the campaigns. I'm pretty sure for 80% of the times, these two will tackle most of the items. But if there are specific campaigns that are focusing on new subscribers for newsletters, people who are looking for new items on your website or have been using search, these kind of elements are also important to tag as well. You can set up these goals here and reuse them in other campaigns, for example. So if you're focusing with your team on certain parts of the website or certain categories, great way of creating here some additional goals specifically for your team or you as a person in this case, to really set those up. And if we go back to experience, to finish off, here is the main overview of all your experiences. And then there's one last thing that I would love to show you guys, which is a great feature that only Ptengine offers, which is showing heat maps over your A/B tests. I think this is one of the highlights, though. Here we go. A view heat map of both versions in this case. Here we go. Okay, here we go. So in this case, version 1 versus version 2 that you have created are immediately put in comparison. And on that A/B test that you created, we are loading the heat map. You can see multiple more clicks here on the first page, actually quite the increase. You can see here a little summary, more clicks in version 1. You see a bigger drop off here on the right. This has a bit more visits. Well, version 2 has more visits, but based on what I see in these elements here in the interactivity, you can see that version 1 is actually performing much better, which is really great. You can also see a different drop-off rate. At this point, we are quite equal. We're here at 45%, but at this point, we're still a bit higher here. You also see a higher engagement rate in the original version, which is interesting to see. So here you see, for example, that the adjusted version actually performs less good when it comes to interactivity. And the elements, for example, that you normally look at is mainly conversion. So this takes conversion out of the equation, which is a very interesting discussion you can have with your team, because the interactivity is actually much better than the original one. So this is a great way of showcasing something else based on an A/B test, something that's maybe not focusing purely on how are my users or visitors buying on the website, but how are they interacting with it. And the heat map here helps a lot. So that is it for now. I wish everybody a great day.